I don't see how you can come to any other conclusion than that Jim Harbaugh hates Michigan. If I was a Michigan fan, this whole situation at the end of every season with Jim Harbaugh would literally be driving me up the wall. On one hand, you've got a Michigan team led by Jim Harbaugh that recruits pretty well for the most part. Um, Elite in some years, but really good all the time. They do extremely well in the transfer portal, right? They appear well coached from a staff perspective when you watch them play. Jim Harbaugh has the pedigree. I mean, he's been a head coach in the NFL. He's been around. He's got, the Harbaugh name, which is worth something. You look at the performance on the field, the last 2 years in particular, under Harbaugh have been two of the best seasons Michigan has had in some people's lifetime. I know they won a national title back in '97, but other than that season, the last two seasons are pretty much as good as it gets for Michigan in the last 70 years. Both years, last 2 years, they beat their rival Ohio State. They won their division. They won the Big Ten, and they made the playoffs. Now, I know that the season ended on a sour note or a disappointing note for a lot of people with Michigan losing both years in the first round of the playoffs. But I've said this since the beginning of the playoff, and I will continue to say it. In a situation where we are in a 4-team playoff, which is what we're in until 2025, in a situation where we're in a 1-team playoff or 4-team playoff, making the playoffs is really, really good. It's really hard, and it's really good. You're talking about 4 out of 130 teams making the playoffs. So, yes, sucks that you lost in the first round. But look, 126 other teams would love to have lost in the first round because they didn't even get to the first round. So, you've got, on one hand, all of these things that appear to be working for Jim Harbaugh. Things appear to be going right at Michigan. You're beating Ohio State. You're winning divisions and conference titles. You're making playoffs. Everything is going right. But then at the end of every year, Michigan fans have to sit around and watch Jim Harbaugh go out and date another woman. And it happens year after year. It's the second year in a row. And as a non-Michigan fan, I'm just going to tell you how it looks from the outside. So I know some Michigan fans are going to tell me, well, I'm closer to the program than you are, and he's doing this for that reason and that for this reason. Okay, maybe whatever you think is true, maybe it's not. I'm just telling you what the perception is on the outside. And I haven't noticed it yet, but the perception of what's going on at Michigan at some point is going to hurt recruiting when it comes to Jim Harbaugh. But the perception from the outside looking in is that Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to be there. That's what it looks like. It looks like Jim Harbaugh has a list of teams or opportunities, and maybe that list of teams and opportunities changes from year to year, that he wants in the NFL. And the minute he's offered one of those, he's gone. And at the end of every season, you got to sit around, you got to watch him talk to NFL teams, interview with NFL teams. Last year, he was interviewing for an NFL head coaching position on signing day. That's unacceptable. I didn't hear about anything like that this year, but he has, it's widely known, been talking to other NFL teams, talked with the Carolina Panthers owner, talked with a few others, all the rumors about the Denver Broncos, there was LA Chargers rumors, all kinds of rumors. And every single year, Michigan fans who honestly should be excited and looking forward to the future of Michigan football under Jim Harbaugh with the way it's been headed the last 2 years, it's got to be frustrating for the Michigan fan when, like I said, on the one hand, so many things are going good, but then on the other hand, your head coach is just looking to give you one of these as soon as possible. It's got to be frustrating. I'm left with no other conclusion to draw but that Jim Harbaugh hates it at Michigan and wants to get out. However, he makes so much money at Michigan, and he's probably got enough money in the bank, he can be picky about which NFL job he takes, but there's no doubt in my mind, and I don't think in anybody's mind, that he wants to be in the NFL. And as soon as a position becomes available in the NFL, and it's offered to him, and it's a position that he's interested in, he's gone. whether that's today, tomorrow, a month from now, this time next year, whenever it is. It would drive me up the friggin' wall as a Georgia fan if Georgia was having the best run they've had in 25 years, which is what is happening right now at Michigan. They won the national title in 97, but these last 2 seasons for Michigan are 2 of the best seasons they've had since then. And the title in 97, that's the only national title they have in the last 70 years, which is poverty beyond measure. Michigan has 1 national title in the last 70 years. Don't even get me started on that. Ohio State's got 2 national titles in the last 50 years. Michigan's got 1 national title in the last 70 years. But somehow Michigan and Ohio State are college football royalty. Okay, whatever. But anyway, so Michigan is currently in their best 2-year run since anybody can remember. Back-to-back Big Ten titles with wins over Ohio State thrown in there and trips to a 4-team playoff. And instead of being excited as soon as the season ends or during the offseason or whatever about maybe the 1 or 2 improvements Michigan needs to make to take the next step, which would be winning a playoff game or a national title, instead of being excited about all that, no, as a Michigan fan, you have to sit around and wonder, should I go all in with Harbaugh because of the results on the field, or do we need to go in a different direction while the roster is stacked, bring in a coach who knows what he's doing? I'm going to be honest with you, that would be the way I would lean if I was a Michigan fan. I would be, I think, actively supporting a coaching change if I was a Michigan fan. I would rather the coaching change happen right now when Michigan is, I won't say on top of the college football world, but Michigan is one of the best 4 or 5 programs in college football right now. Back-to-back playoff appearances. Back-to-back Big Ten titles. And the recruiting is chugging right along. I would much rather make a change at head coach now while the cupboard is stacked full of talent, while we've got all the momentum in the world, while we've got a winning streak over Ohio State, while we're coming off 2 straight Big Ten titles and 2 straight playoff appearances, then wait and go through this same dance every offseason for the same however many number of years until Jim Harbaugh finally decides to jump ship and head to the NFL. Because I mentioned it earlier, other teams are going to start telling recruits, do you really want to go to Michigan? Because every offseason, Jim Harbaugh's looking for an NFL job. You really going to go to Michigan when this could be Jim Harbaugh's last year? Or maybe you're there for 2 years and then Harbaugh leaves? Don't go there. It's going to start happening. It's going to start happening. So I don't know. I feel bad for Michigan fans because it's got to be like a rock and a hard place type situation. And this isn't a troll video. I don't troll. So this isn't a troll video. If this was happening to me as a Georgia fan, it would seriously bother me. And it's not an easy decision to make. Do you go all in on Jim Harbaugh? Should Michigan offer him more money? Should it give him more control? What would it take? What would it take from the University of Michigan to convince Jim Harbaugh to stop dating the NFL every offseason and go ahead and just marry Michigan and make it legal or whatever, make it official? It would really bother me. I don't know if I would want that or if I would just want to say, you know what? Forget this guy. Every year trying to ditch us for the NFL. Go already. I don't know which side of the aisle I would come down on, which side of that argument. It's got to be frustrating for Michigan fans. I don't know. Anyway, in the end, it doesn't really matter because the Big Ten is hot garbage.